So, good evening, everyone. It's 9:04. It's the 13th of July. It's a Monday. It's a brand new week. Anything could happen. And I know loads of good stuff's going to happen. We've got some incredible stuff to talk about tonight on this broadcast. Massive shout out to those who are listening in on the audio experience. If you're watching the replay on Facebook or you're watching the replay on YouTube, please leave the word replay in the comments, just so I know that, people are catching up and still watching this on the replay. And if you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on the audio experience, well, actually, this is more just for the audio experience, guys. If you're listening on iTunes on the audio experience or you're listening on Spotify, if you'd leave me a review, it'd mean the world. Again, I'll just say it to everyone who's joining live tonight, like asking them to share it in the Facebook group. I never ask. I always forget to kind of like ask people to help me spread the word with this. So like, forgive me, but I'm going to start asking more because I can't do it on my own. And I feel what we're doing here is having a big impact on actors in our industry in a very, very positive way. So the more people you can tell about it and just bring to the party, the better. So how's everyone doing, first of all? Let's just do a little check-in with people who are here live on Facebook. Let me know how your Monday has started. The industry is beginning to wake up from a slumber. It's still, tired. It's got sleep in its eyes, and it's not quite ready to, drag itself out of bed. But I was talking to a casting director this morning who's going to be joining Acts on This members for a live webinar the week after next. So not this week, but next week. A top casting director as well. If you stay on till the end, here's something that I'll promise you. If you guys who stay till the end tonight, till 10 o'clock, the next 55 minutes, stay with me, I will play you the trailer for next week. I'm going to play you the trailer for this week because we've got a fantastic member-only call on Thursday night, but I'm going to play you the trailer for next week as a little sneak peek because I'm not going to put that out anywhere else. That'll be the only time it's played before like the end of this week anyway, so you'll get to know first who is coming up next. So I'll check in. Let's have a look at some comments, see what's going on. Andrew's in the house. Marcelo says the fact you got back the first time was a miracle. What's that, mate? In terms of emails, yeah. Anyone who sends me an email, by the way, ross@actonthis.tv. I do get a lot. I had to sit down on Friday night. A lot of people will have been getting replies to me from me, like between 11 and 1 o'clock in the morning. I had about 145 to reply to, but I do reply. Well, honestly, like genuinely, it'll get to the point where I just like probably find it impossible. But until then, I will sit here with a gin in a tin on a Friday night and give up my life and just email you guys back. It's absolutely fine. Tanika, how you doing? Chris is here as well. Esther says it's great to connect with other actors, filmmakers, etc. And you can upload your CV as a file and work as well. What's that, Esther? You're talking about some sort of platform, I imagine. There, David Bell's here. Brendan's in the house. Brendan has had a transformation over the last year. I saw Brendan post on Twitter before a headshot of him like a year ago. Not in the best shape, Brendan, you'll be first to admit. And shaved head. Now look at Brendan's headshot on here. It's like a changed man. It's like this debonair kind of like, cool dude, like back in just a year ago. He decided enough was enough. So proud of you, dude. Well done. It's a huge transformation. Nick Field, how you doing? He's good. Indra's here as well. Nicola's in the house. Matt Banks is here. Says he's been stressed about the theatre industry. Kind of like stressful time, isn't it, Matt? But I'm a big believer in only stressing about the things that I have control over. And I think the theatre industry as a whole, to be honest, kind of like, we don't have a whole lot of control over it right now. I only stress about things that I'm like, right, can I do something about it? So ultimately, I look at life like this. I've got a problem. Okay, can I do anything about it? No. Well, why worry about it? Can I do anything about it? Yes. Brilliant. Well, why worry about it? So just, sometimes you just got to kind of like let go and go, right, it's not all. This is the thing that I put out a couple of weeks ago as well. It cannot ever get to a point, right? Even if, just imagine, right? And this is horrific because a lot of people will lose jobs, will lose livelihoods to a certain extent, but we'll have to just pivot. There's no alternative. You've got to pivot to do something else, to earn more money in this interim, in the meantime. Even if, like, literally, imagine if you just wave the magic wand and theatres disappeared tomorrow. There was also a time when theatres didn't exist before we decided we were just going to make them. So I'm just like a big believer in going, if we've done it once, we can do it again. Like, regardless of what happens, as long as no one dies, and I mean, that's ultimately the most horrific thing that's happening right now. I think another 150 people in the UK lost their life to COVID yesterday. But as long as kind of like, that isn't the case with you or your family or your immediate loved ones, like, there's not a lot of point in getting stressed about stuff. It's like, really? Like, this is just a real leveler. Ultimately, a mentor of mine once said this, and it made me go, what? This is weird. But I've done it a few times, and it actually, makes a lot of sense when, and in terms of like when good things are happening to you and when bad things are happening to you. He said to me, he said, listen, I said, why don't you ever get stressed about anything? He said, because every morning and this is extreme, right? You'll be shocked by this. He said, every morning in the shower, I convince myself that my parents have just died. And then I realize that they haven't. And then all the shit that I was worried about, I'm like, just doesn't matter. As long as the 6 or 7 people who are closest to me woke up this morning, none of this shit matters. And he says that, in terms of when great things happen to him as well. He's like, okay, well, this is amazing. But if I found out that something had happened to a loved one right now, would it really matter? Just to ensure that his feet stay on the ground and he doesn't get high on his own supply. And really, that's just what it comes down to in life. It's like, yeah, this industry is incredible. We're all very privileged to work in it. It's struggling right now, but we've got to get it through it, haven't we? I mean, there's no alternative, and it's down to us to kind of do it. But like, when the time comes, when we have control over that, and I don't think that time is quite right now. Ricky's here, says thanks for the advice regarding the agent today. No problem, Ricky. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, anybody like who's, do you know what? Well, why don't we talk about, in terms of agents, why don't we talk about last week's call? So for members of actsonthis.tv, if you've no idea who I am and you've just clapped eyes on me, I run this website, actsonthis.tv. Ultimately, every week I sit down with a top actor, a top agent, a top writer, a producer, a director, and we've pivoted. I've had to pivot. I used to do this face-to-face, but I was like, my business will be destroyed by COVID if that's the way I have to do these things, because I can't do face-to-face. So we moved everything online. We now do Zoom calls, member-only Zoom calls, every Thursday, and every other Thursday, every other Tuesday. So it alternates, 1 week Tuesday, 1 week Thursday. And we get literally the biggest names in the industry on, like, as in, massive actors. So people like Daniel Mays, you'll know from, like, it's just incredible shows, also 1917, the film with Sam Mendes, but, Code 404 with Stephen Graham. White Lines, if you've been watching that on Netflix. Best casting directors in the industry. We have absolutely loads of the biggest casting directors. There's Matt Lucas, obviously comedy legend. David Harewood, one of my all-time favourite actors, full stop. And last week we had, thanks to Marcelo, we'll give him a bit more love on this call tonight. Marcelo's a member of actsonthis.tv. He invited his agent on, Lizzie Ferguson from Hamilton HODELL. It was a 2-hour call. Hamilton HODELL are one of the biggest agencies in the world, ultimately. They rep some of the biggest names on the planet, people like Emma Thompson, Daisy Edgar-Jones, Marcelo, obviously he's on the call tonight. Marcelo, man, you're going to go all the way. I'm sure he's going to be an absolutely massive name as well. But some of the biggest names, Tom Hiddleston, huge names, Rupert Grint, massive names in the industry. And we sat down for 2 hours on a Zoom call, member-only Zoom call last, when was it? Was it Tuesday? God, it was Tuesday, wasn't it? Last Tuesday evening. And just, got Lizzie to explain to us exactly how the big agencies work, because it's a thing that's on everybody's mind. Is like, what, my aim at some point in my career, this is how it goes. It's almost like, being a footballer and going from Division 2 to Division 1 to the Premiership. We all aim to be with one of the Premiership agents. Ultimately, there's about 7 or 8 of them in London, but at times it can feel absolutely like impenetrable, in terms of like, how do you get on the inside circle of, the people who can ultimately give you access to the agents there and stuff, and it can feel pretty difficult to ever gain access. I don't know about you lot who were on that call, but Lizzie just completely allayed everybody's fears, and my own included. Like, it was just such an incredible chat. I'm going to play some of the like a couple of clips out tonight if you missed it. But if you weren't there, and I've got this offer on again, I'm doing it this week again. I don't think I'm going to do it again after this. But if you look on the bottom of the screen now, if you're watching live, if you're listening, you can't see it, but there you go, it's down there. If you go to actsonthis.tv/trial, that link will actually give you access to a £1 trial where you get access for 7 days to everything on actsonthis.tv. It'll also give you access to this week's webinar as well, if you want to join that live. Access to all the previous ones for just £1. When you go to actsonthis.tv/trial, it's very clever. It will track you and your internet connection, your IP address and your device, and it will give you just 60 minutes to claim your trial. Like, literally, it's not some sort of weird sales bullshit. I just need people to take action and not dilly and dally. It's like, literally, if you want to get a trial and you want to try it out, actsonthis.tv/trial. You can watch a video on there, read all about it, but you ultimately have 59 minutes and 59 seconds to make up your mind if you want to be part of this community. Just try it for a week. I promise you, the content will change your career, potentially your life, if you act on it. So many people have signed with agents through this website in lockdown, where they've met agents on these calls, and now they're signed with them. It's incredible. But I'll play you a little mashup first of all of what you missed of Lizzie's chat. This is just sort of how it works to give you a little overview, and then I've chosen 2 particular pieces of advice from Lizzie that I just think everybody on here will benefit from. And then if you want to get access to the whole lot, obviously actonthis.tv/trial. It'll cost you £1, but you can get access to the full 2-hour replay. But here's just a little bit of what you missed.
I want to introduce you to one of the incredible agents currently heading up Hamilton HODELL, one of London's and the planet's top-tier acting agencies. It's Lizzie Ferguson. Lizzie, good evening.
Christian is the CEO. Top dog. Chris is now our managing director. Maddie and Sian, they share a list. Then there's myself.
Yep.
Alexander, he is probably one of the hardest working agents I've ever met. Josh is like my partner in crime. I sit next to Josh. Hannah is, just a ball of energy. She's so funny. She is really great at finding completely new talent.
Most people's questions tonight, Lizzie, let's just be honest, are going to be, right, how do I get signed by Hamilton HODELL? So I think it's interesting to look at just 3 examples of people that you've decided were right for you, they're a good fit for your list, how you met, like whether they approach you, you approach them, and sort of like, what it was that made you sign them.
How open are your books to kind of, fresh new actors?
So my books are never closed, because I think if you close your books, then you're not going to find the right people.
So say I'm looking at your clients on your website, and say if I see someone that has a similar look physically to me and a similar kind of playing age, should I steer clear of writing to you?
Definitely still okay to write to me, because I never really take someone on their looks, because everyone acts differently.
Fresh, new talent, does it always necessarily have to be young?
No. That was easy.
How do you leave an agent and just keep everyone happy?
This is your career.
Yeah.
So don't be worried about upsetting other people, because you have got to think of yourself first. Be proud of your work and who you are as an actor, and don't kind of feel you have to fit the mold of someone else or something else or anything like that.
Yeah.
This is your career. Be selfish in a kind and polite way, but you got to work for yourself. So if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right.
Boom! Literally just a couple of minutes of that call. It was a 2-hour call. Honestly, one of the best calls that I think we've done over lockdown, without a doubt. And that's how it works. For people who've never been on one of those member-only calls, you literally get to jump on camera with the guests. You get to put your acting career questions to them. Everybody gets to watch and listen and benefit from that. And we get really honest. And this is the thing that I pride this community on, and the way that I kind of operate as well, is it's just a completely, bullshit-free zone in terms of you ask the questions, or I'll ask them on your behalf for you, that a lot of people would be scared to ask, or they'd never email that to somebody, or they're just oh, can I ask that? Of course you can. It's the only way that you're going to learn. If you have to ask a really, sort of to the point, blunt kind of question, we don't skirt around anything. We don't wrap anything up in cotton wool. It's just this is the reality of this. Here's what you would need to do in order to make this happen. And people should hopefully leave with actionable, tips and advice that they can go and implement in their career, literally that evening if they want, or the next day. Brendan said he missed it. He's got to catch up. Brendan, you must do, mate. Honestly, as I say, literally one of the most impactful, I think, broadcasts that we've done over the lockdown period, without a doubt. Let's have a look. Marcelo says, I really hope it demystifies some of the process for people. So often it feels so inaccessible, but it really doesn't have to be. Definitely, mate. As I say, for myself, it did as well. I always say this, I'm a student on every one of these calls as well. Yes, I kind of, I set them up and stuff, and I host them, but so on so many of them, I'm learning as well on every single call, because I don't think you can ever get to a point in your career where you're that's it, I know everything now. That I don't need to learn from anybody else. I learned so much on every single call, and particularly this one was really, really impactful. Chris says she was so lovely. Callum says, I know it sounds silly, but I think Lizzie just helped remind us that agents are humans too. It's so easy to see them as this scary spectre looming over us, but at the end of it all, they just try to make a living in the industry like we are. Definitely. And the casting director I spoke to this morning, who I'll play at the end of this for those who stay around, I'm doing a webinar. We'll be doing a member-only webinar with her next week. We're saying the same thing. She's like, I just wish actors would realize that, like, we're in the same game in terms of, like, we are working so hard. And at the start of casting directors' careers, when they're working as assistants, sometimes they're volunteering completely for free. They're getting nailed just like actors are when they're first starting out in the career. There's so many parallels between casting directors, agents to a certain degree as well. When you're starting off as an agent or an agent's assistant, you're doing an internship, even at some of these big places, you're not getting paid a lot of money at all, very often minimum wage, and you're working all the hours under the sun because you're just hustling, and, you know, you've got a goal and a dream to attack as well, just like we have. It's not like casting directors got it easy. Agents, they've got it easy. They really haven't. They are, as Callum said, they're all just trying to make a living in the industry like we are, without a doubt. Stacey says, love these Monday calls, really sets you up for the week. Thank you, Stace. Well, I'm going to play something. I'm just going to elaborate on another clip from Lizzie's broadcast, because there's two things that I always get emailed. Literally, probably daily by actors. And a lot. Oh God, I've got so much to talk about tonight, because I want to talk about some emails I've got and a survey I've done as well around actors' mindsets as well. So many actors email me looking for permission. And it's like, I'm not really anyone to give you permission, but it's almost like they come to me for permission going, right, I'm thinking of doing this. Here's my email. Will you read it? Can I send it? And honest to God, 99% of the time, I don't change a single word of it. Occasionally, I will do. I'll go, it's too long. You need to chop that out. You don't need to put that in. Let your CV speak for itself, etc. But on a whole, there's nothing wrong with anyone's emails that they're wanting to send. They're just looking for permission. And another thing that comes up all the time is looking for permission to email an agent in case their books aren't open. And as Lizzie, you caught a little clip in that mashup, and I'm going to play the expanded version of it now. A decent agent's books are never closed, because if they were, I mean, it would be pointless for business. It would be very negative for business. If you're going to go, well, you know what, I'm going to stumble across an incredible actor or actress or someone in a very unique niche. You know, I've got ethnicity or someone who speaks all these languages. It's something that's very unique about someone, and they're fantastic. You're not going to go, oh, you know what, but my books aren't open right now. You're going to be like, wait a minute, this makes a lot of commercial sense for me to hook up with this person, them to book work and earn money, thus I earn money as well. And I don't have anybody like them on my books, so they fit my list perfectly. So a lot of people, I think, are allowing fear to dress itself up as practicality to make an excuse for why they can't email somebody. And they would rather tell themselves it's for a practical reason because right now it's COVID and the books are closed. Bullshit. So many people are getting signed. Lizzie, the day she did this webinar with us, signed a person. I don't know who that was, but she said she had literally signed somebody that day. So don't allow COVID, because our industry is in a slumber right now, to don't use that as your practical excuse for why you can't be doing stuff. Because really, just be honest with yourself. You're just shit scared, and that's why you're not doing it. And I face that myself sometimes as well, and I have to remind myself, no, you're not doing this because, you're not doing this because you haven't got time. You're not doing it because you're scared. So ultimately, do it. But here's Lizzie's opinion on books being open. And I think this applies to all agents. This will apply to the entirety of Hamilton HODELL and probably every agent on the planet. If you are the right fit and you have something to offer that they haven't got, why would they, say no and their books are closed?
So my question to you, knowing that you've signed somebody today, is how open are your books to kind of, fresh new actors, and what is it that we can be doing as actors to make sure that if agents do have those openings, we can kind of capitalize on those and get in with great agents?
So my books are never closed, because I think if you close your books, then you're not going to find the right people. We don't even say that. We don't really say our books are open or anything. It's quite an American thing, I think. But my books are never closed, purely because if you close your books or whatever, then you could miss someone who is going to be incredible, and you guys are going to have like amazing working relationship together and everything like that. In terms of kind of keeping on the radar of an agent, I wouldn't email them or send them anything unless you have something new to show to them. it can be a bit frustrating if someone's written to you and you've said, I'm kind of having a look, and then a week later they're like, hi, I'm still here. I'd rather you said, hey, I just did a self-tape for Julie Harkin. I wanted to send it your way just so you could have a look. Or even if it is like, just did an audition for Julie Harkin, I think it went really well, because I can always call Julie and ask her how you were. I do that quite a lot. And so you can come to them with something new, and see sort of what they say. Even a new show reel, that's something new. Bear in mind, I get sent probably 30 to 40 emails of representation a day.
Wow.
So I don't have 5 minutes to watch something, because if I did for hours, I would just be sitting watching, and all my other actors would be like, why am I not getting a job? So I will watch I will turn off after 30 seconds of a show reel if it's not the right thing. So that's where it's got to be really good right at the start. And if it's good, I'll keep watching for however long I want to. I could go 7-10 minutes on it if I'm just really intrigued in it.
Again, if you've never been a member of actonthis.tv, only if you've never been a member, actonthis.tv/trial, you'll be able to try the whole site out and everything, get access to the full chat there with Lizzie for just £1 for 7 days. But I just thought, what incredible insight. And again, sort of like you're hearing it from directly, from the agent themselves, in terms of like, this isn't just hearsay, this isn't just me being optimistic and going, yeah, of course you should write, and there'll always be a space if you're the right person. Like, it genuinely just makes sense from a business perspective. Like, if you are right, why would they turn you down? So if you are looking for an agent, like, put yourself out there, start emailing agents now. Don't think to yourself, oh, okay, I have to wait for the industry to pick back up again, because you're just lying to yourself. Like, I've answered probably 3 or 4 emails from people today just saying, I was thinking about, emailing, should I? Who was it? I can't believe, you're on the broadcast. Who was it who emailed me today about the, Ricky? It was Ricky, wasn't it? About an agent who's approached Ricky, and he was like, oh, should I, push for, like, should I email this back, or should I push for a Zoom call? I'm like, mate, you want to just push for a Zoom call. The only way you're going to know if you can get on with an agent or not, really, you've got to meet them. You definitely don't want to be signing with any agent if you haven't met them. And I have heard actors who have done that. They've got so happy that someone has said, yes, I'll rep you. They've just gone, all right, brilliant, I'll just sign with you then. They're not a real agent if they don't meet you. And then they wonder why, sort of like nothing happens. And like, oh, I just got excited and jumped into bed with the first agent who would have me, and that's not a good formula. But Ricky, yeah, if you can meet that agent online, mate, on a Zoom, then you can see whether you get on with each other. That's the key. If agents are legit and they've got good clients and you're happy with the caliber of the people that they're repping, it all then comes down to whether you get on with that person on a personal level, whether you gel. And sometimes you will, and sometimes you just won't. There'll just be a character clash in terms of your personalities just don't work together. And that's fine, man. That's absolutely just human condition, isn't it? That's just our behavior as human beings. Sometimes we just don't, for whatever reason, gel with somebody. But you must with your agent. You can never feel like, again, you don't really want to be asking your agent for permission for stuff. So many, again, I get emails from people saying, oh, but I don't want to upset my agent by writing to this casting director. Why would you, being proactive, trying to get work off your own back in a sensible and a polite way, and in a a business-like way? Why would your agent ever tell you not to do that? Because the more chance you have of working, the more chance they have of earning, and they need to earn money in order to run the agency. So, yeah, ultimately, the only person you need permission from should be yourself for anything in your life. As long as you go about it the right way and you're not stepping on anyone's toes or doing anything wrong or trying to hurt anybody or being sneaky, you don't need permission from anybody else but yourself. And the next thing that I'm going to play for you comes down to the other thing that I get asked about all the time, and is without a doubt one of the hardest things to do when it comes to agents, and that is leave your current agent. And it's again, a hot topic that people get emotional about, and they can't detach themselves from the business in terms of realizing that they're just a product, because it is them. If you were working in any other industry, I don't think you'd have a problem with this. If you were going to a different, I don't know, you're a baker and you decided you were going to change the supplier of your cupcake mix because they kept running out at your current supplier, or you couldn't get hold of them, or you were emailing them for cupcake mix and they didn't email you back for 3 months, because that's happens to some actors as well, where they've emailed their agent and they've not had a reply in 3 months. I mean, that's a dead relationship. But if you were anyone else, if you were that cake maker, you would go, I'm going to find a different supplier, and you wouldn't have any hesitation about it. You wouldn't have any emotion about it. You wouldn't cry about it, and you wouldn't put it off for a year to just see what happens. You know what? I'm just going to see if they get any cake mix in, because you know what? Well, right now your business is on its arse and you're dying. But I'm just going to give it 6 months and just see if any cake mix comes in 6 months. Yeah, but this baker down here, he's got shitloads of cakes and he's with this supplier. Why don't you try that supplier? No, I'm just going to just give mine 6 months. It's bonkers, isn't it? If you were in any other industry, you wouldn't do it. So why are you doing it to yourself? And this is Lizzie's advice, which I think is absolutely just superb, to the point, but just said so articulately. You'll love this. This will fire you up if you're in a position where you're like, should I leave my agent? And you feel in your heart it is the right time. I'm certainly not going to be the one to tell you that, by the way. That has to be down to you. I'm not going to tell anybody when it's time. But I think this will help. How do you leave an agent and just keep everyone happy?
This is your career. Yeah. So don't be worried about upsetting other people, because you have got to think of yourself first. So don't stick around with an agent who's not replying to an email. It takes 30 seconds to reply to an email. Don't stick around with an agent like that just because you don't want to upset someone. We're all adults. We'll get over it. And I think that you don't have to go in and slag that agent or anything like that. You can go in and just say, it's just not working right with them. I feel like it's run its course. We're slightly on different paths as to what we're sort of seeing. I also say whenever I have actors come to me who want to leave their agent or in the process of leaving their agent, that kind of thing, it's a very confidential space with me. I won't delve into asking you what they've done and what they didn't email or anything like that. I just want to know that you weren't fired. If your agent fired you, I'd be like, hey, what happened there? But if you're just saying to new agents, I'm wanting a fresh look, and I feel like we've run our course. And because that happens all the time, some people sign out of drama school and the first couple of years it's going really well, and then you think, actually, we're not gelling as much, and maybe it'd be better if I'm with someone else. It's not often that people stay with the same agent for their whole entire career. Your relationship with your agent will have an effect on your confidence when you're in the room. It will have an effect on how you feel on every tape you're getting sent and things like that. And it's gotta be right and feel right. Yes. And just because, say you're signed to Christian HODELL, if it's not working right with Christian HODELL, it's not working right with Christian HODELL. Because he's a person and he works in a way, I work in a certain way. And if that doesn't gel and click, then that doesn't gel and click. And it's not necessarily wrong. It's just not right, just not the right feeling and the right thing. And it's got to be the right feeling, right thing. And you have to be respected as an actor and get emails back and feel heard and have that relationship that you'd like to have with your agent. There's nothing wrong in asking for that.
Boom. There was nothing wrong with your screens, by the way, there, guys. We hid the member's identity there via a Crime Watch style pixelation. So yeah, there was nothing wrong with this webcam or Zoom. It was just because obviously it's a very sensitive topic, talking about leaving an agent. And if you're a member of actsonthis.tv, it's a very, very safe space where we won't, reveal your identity. We didn't disguise the voice because there wasn't one, but yeah, I just thought that was really, really sound advice from Lizzie. Where she's like, look, ultimately, and you have to be. I think in all walks of life, right? And people sometimes when I've said this have been like, ooh, that's not very British, you're right. But I'm like, look, I have to be selfish in order to be selfless. I have to, and I really mean this, and don't think I'm bad, but I have to put myself before everybody else to make sure that my well is full before I'm of any use to you guys. Like, I mean, literally, and that includes sometimes my family as well, where I'm like, you know what, right now, I'm going to do anything for my family, of course I would, but sometimes I'm like, right now, I can't do that for you right now, or I can't take that call right now because I'm not in a place where I'm going to be of any use to you if I take that call right now because I'm doing this or that, or I've got this to do, I'm just about to record this or whatever it is. And you've got to put yourself first. And in your career, more than anything, it's like no one can want you to be successful. No one can want you to have a successful acting career more than you. Your agent can never want it more than you. Your mum can never want it more than you. You're the only one who can want it. Like, the most, or you should be wanting it the most. If someone else wants you to succeed more than you do, you're probably going to lose. You've got to be your biggest your own cheerleader, basically, your biggest fan, ultimately. So when it comes down to representation, if you do not feel that what you are receiving is what you deserve, are not hitting the standards that you give to other people, don't mug yourself off. But you've got to raise your standards of what you demand from yourself, but also then what you demand from other people as well. And they've got to be congruent. So, you've got to give your best to get your best. But have a think, have a think. I think right now with the industry being, quite quiet, now is the right time to be looking around and summing up and taking stock of where you're at. Are you any further along than you were a year ago? If not, why not? What has to change in order for you to have what you have not had yet? If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting what you've already got ultimately. What have you got to do differently to get what you've never had before? So that's just a couple of clips. That was one of the best broadcasts that we've done over the last 3 months, without a doubt. If you want to get access to the full thing, actonthis.tv, you'll see a little trailer for it here. If you click on preview features, you'll see a little trailer for it here. You can watch that again if you want, read a little bit about it. But if you want to get a trial for £1 for 7 days, I'm going to turn this off at the end of this week as well. You won't get that trial offer after this week. I'm only going to do it every now and again. But yeah, actonthis.tv/trial. Go and get it now while you can. It'll cost you £1 for 7 days. You can cancel anytime you want. But I promise you, when you get access to this stuff, you're just not going to want to cancel. It'd be pointless, or I don't know. I don't know why you would, to be honest with you. If you don't want coaching every week, every single week without fail from the biggest names in the industry, I don't know what you're doing, because you could save yourself literally years of getting it wrong. So if you are serious, if you're genuinely serious, and acting isn't just a little hobby for you that you in your head you would like to do at some point, if it is actually what you actually want to do with your life whilst you're on this planet, then I don't think there's a better resource really. And that comes on this week. We've got another live broadcast this Thursday night with 3 people I've got to know really well over the last couple of years, because I've worked with them really regularly on a CBeebies animation. You might have heard me talk about this last year and the year before. It was a project that went on for a long time, because we had, God, I don't know, like 70, what do we have, 78 episodes, I think, of this to voice. It's a kids thing, so it's a brand new kids show. It's out now. It's already been, they've been playing episodes out, called Tinpo. I am the voice of Tinpo, but I also voice it with 3 other incredibly, and actually way more experienced, incredibly talented and way more experienced voice actors than me, because they've been doing it a lot longer. One of them is the BAFTA-nominated voice of Horrid Henry. Her name is Lizzie Waterworth-Santo. The other one is an incredibly, a veteran of animation and cartoon voiceover, has voiced some of the biggest things on the planet, stuff like, well, he's the voice of the Fat Controller in Thomas and Friends, iconic. Does Mr. Men, Octonauts, Lazy Town, Watch My Chops, loads and loads of classic stuff. Keith Wickham, and then Joe Ruiz as well. She plays lots of characters in Horrid Henry. She also does stuff like Octonauts, Lazy Town as well. Other big stuff, big kid shows. And they're going to be joining us on Thursday night for a live webinar, all 3 of them, all about voice acting. So who here, give me a comment in the chat if you're like, this is an area of the industry you've never experienced before, you've never delved into, you've never explored, because it's an incredible area of the industry to look at. And I just think you're missing a trick if you don't, because it's voiceover, which is an incredible part of the industry. I've been going big on voiceover recently on the website. I had a lot of webinars and chat about voiceover. It's a huge part of my career. And voiceover, animation, I've done loads of it. And it's amazing, because you get to act, but you don't have to learn lines. You get to play characters you could never play in real life because they're fake. I played a guy for 100 odd episodes, a guy called Percival, in a show for Netflix called Wakfu. which was just amazing. I played this knight who always gets things wrong and ends up basically almost dying every single episode, but he's always unlucky in love. Basically, it's a semi-biopical character based on my life, and it's such good fun. You literally get to go in a booth, hang out, drink coffee, eat biscuits, act, put on stupid voices, get paid really well for it, and you can do it like in your tracksuit bottoms. And honestly, it's just amazing. But let me know if it's something that you'd be interested in, because you're going to want to get involved with this on Thursday night. I'm going to play you. I'll play you a little bit of Timpo in a minute, actually, to show you what it is. I've never explored voiceover, but very interested. Said Dawn, voice acting is honestly something I never thought I'd get into, but I love it and really, really enjoy it. Says Nicola. Dwayne, how you doing, mate? Great to see you here. I do voiceover work, but haven't done a lot of voice acting, says Nick. Andrew says no, not really. I know Chris is getting into animation and voiceover and stuff. Connor says watch my chops was so good. Well, that's Keith, I'd love to know more, says Kaylee. I'll play you a little bit of Timpo, right? I'm Timpo, the blue guy. I think he's mostly in this, but I'll show you what we were working on for like the last year. And honestly, it's just such good fun. It really is cool. Here he is. See if you'd recognize if it was my voice. It's a bit more higher pitched, but it's all authentic. This is me. It's Timpo, and if you've got kids 2 to 6, please make them watch it.
2 eggs, a spoon of baking powder, milk, sugar, what have I forgotten? A spoon of baking powder. And into the Instabaker. Yikes! A call out! Some po needs our help! A different way of looking. Aha! 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 Team, that's it! I think we need to come up with another solution. Good afternoon, sir. How can we help you today? Don't worry, Doug Poe. We can fix this. Let's take a look and see what's going on. That didn't quite go as planned, but we'll keep trying. Let's do it!
A little bit of Timpo. I was getting into that, then I almost forgot to turn my camera back on. But yeah, so Timpo lives in Timpo Town with Hackpo, Dougpo, and Logipo. And he has a hamster called Herman, and every day basically there's some Po, which Po is just a person, like, you can have a snow Po, which is like a snow person, or Po just means person basically. And every day something goes wrong, and Timpo and the team have to go out in the Timpo train or the Timpo monster truck and solve it. And he's got a little iPad, and when he gets an idea, he goes, aha! Sounds a bit like Alan Partridge, but as a I was channeling my Alan Partridge for every one of those. Aha! But it's really good. Honestly, it's animated beautifully. It was like a production between. It was animated in Japan. It was produced and directed in LA. They dialed in to direct it, and then it was all put together in the UK. So it was like a huge thing for BBC. So hopefully they're going to do merchandise and all kinds of stuff with it as well. It would be amazing to have a little Timpo toy with my voice in it. I mean, that would be pretty good. I think there's very little chance of me ever having my own action figure of myself. Maybe someone might want to make one, but yeah, it'd still be nice to have a have a Timpo toy. Great stuff, but you sound a lot younger, says Nick. Yeah, well, it's for 2 to 6 year olds, Nick. Gotta sound young. Definitely. Dawn says never mind the kids, I love it. Tanika says I do love Timpo, love watching it with my nephew, but not being able to since lockdown. It is, honestly, it's just a funny show, and they're only like small episodes, well, like 12 minutes long or something like that. But yeah, that's Timpo. That's how I met these guys. So that's how I met Lizzie and Keith and Joe. So here's, you can meet them now. Here's a little trailer that I've put out just to show you what's happening on Thursday night. I'd love you to join this, because honestly, it's going to really open your eyes to an area of the industry so few actors ever delve into. So there's not like loads of competition either.
Actors, I am back with a full house and another invite for you guys to another incredible actonthis.tv live webinar taking place on Thursday, the 16th of July at 7:30 p.m. with this incredible gang here. We have got the BAFTA-nominated voice of Horrid Henry and one of the stars of David Walliam's brand new book, World's Worst Teachers, Lizzie Water with Sanso in the house. Also got, hello, also got an incredible voice actress as well, star of many, many shows, including playing lots of characters in Horrid Henry, things like Dennis, Lazy Town, Joe Ruiz. And last, but certainly not least, we've got the voice of lots of characters in Thomas and Friends, Octonauts, Mr. Men, Watch My Chops, Mr. Keith Wickham.
Hello.
All right. Guys, thanks so much for doing this. What are we going to be putting, taking actors through on Thursday?
Well, we're talking about working in animation, doing voice acting in animation, and with tips and tricks and hints and some techniques maybe. And we'll talk about our careers possibly and how you can get into the industry and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and we're going to be looking at auditions. How do you get an audition? How do you prepare for an audition? What happens in an audition? And also how to become your character. So how do you become a chicken? How do you become an egg? So many questions.
How do you become an egg? Joe?
Yeah, what they said.
Nice. If you want to get involved with this and you want to literally jump on camera with Joe, with Lizzie, with Keith on the night, put your voice acting career questions to them, get some one-to-one coaching, get yourself over to actonthis.tv/live right now for full details of how you can get involved and also get involved with upcoming webinars as well. And let's do this last little bit in character. Fat Controller, why don't actors want to miss this one?
Because, Ross, it will be a really useful webinar.
Horrid Henry.
Well, if you don't come, I'm going to hunt you down and you can't be in my purple hand gang.
Joe. Sour Susan.
Yeah, purple hand gang.
Nice. We'll see you there. actonthis.tv/live. Boom. actonthis.tv/live if you want to get your membership, or actually if you've never had a membership before and you want to join us for that call, actonthis.tv/trial, get a 7-day pass for £1, and you can join that call with Lizzie, Keith and Joe as well. It is going to be incredible. Honestly, there's such a good laugh. Great team. Joe, you'll hear basically just does the voices all the time, doesn't say a lot, she just sort of like does the voices. Lizzie is, I mean, anyone kind of like, I don't know how young people are on the call tonight, anyone kind of grow up with Horrid Henry? I've had loads of people going, oh my god, it's Horrid Henry, that was such a big part of my childhood. We're going to be no doubt getting Lizzie to do a little bit of Horrid Henry, and Keith has just done some absolutely iconic, incredible stuff over the years. It will just be really Sour Susan, says Caitlin. I'm so excited. That is Sour Susan. Joey Sour Susan from Horrid Henry. It's just honestly, it's just really, really a really, really good laugh. And these guys are so. I mean, I've had quite a lot of experience in this, so I'll be able to help you guys as well. But these guys have had like infinitely more experience than me. They've done this for in some cases, I think Keith's done it for decades. And I think at one point as well, like before we sort of like TV diversified and we ended up with 1 million channels. Keith was like without a doubt, like the #1 male voiceover artist for animation, like in the country, without a doubt. And then obviously, as channels diversify and we end up with 1 million, they need more voice actors. But Keith was like the go-to guy for a long time. And he's amazing. He's really good. One thing I liked about Keith when we were doing Timpo is how quickly he could come up with voices that sounded nothing like the main character he was playing, because when you're doing an animation, they'll often get you to play supplementary characters. So in an episode, there could be a guy or a girl in it that just has like 2 or 3 lines. They wouldn't cast that. They would get us as the main cast to do those voices as well. And I would get to the point where I'm like, right, wait a minute, I need to think, who have I done so far? Right, maybe we should do a Scottish accent, or we'll make this guy really gruff and deep and make him sound angry, or we'll make this guy sound like, a little bit... what's the word? Like flamboyant, he's a bit kind of like, out there. Where Keith will just go, yep, got it, okay, go. And just, literally wouldn't have to think. He's probably just done so many voices that he's just like, yeah, I'll just do this one for that. But they're incredible. They're really, really good. So in terms of getting into character, we're going to talk about that, how you can, sort of expand your range of voices, voice reels for animation, auditions, agents, all kinds of stuff. So do join us for that. And that's Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Let me know in the chat if you are going to be there. And we'll, we will see you there for sure. What else have I got? Have I got anything else to play?
I think, I guess I don't know if I thought I've got. Oh yeah, and of course I've got another thing to play, but I'm not going to play it yet. I've got the trailer for next week. For those who stay for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to play the trailer for next week as well. We've got an incredible casting director coming to hang out with us next Tuesday, which will be an awesome webinar as well. So, anyone got any questions? Anyone got anything that they want to? Any little bit of random Q&A for the next 7 minutes before we start wrapping up? Let me know. What's this? Oh, Bagpuss. Sharon's saying about her childhood. I meant to remember it from childhood. You're more Bagpuss. I never sort of got into Bagpuss. Never watched that, but I did used to watch Thomas the Tank all the time. My son absolutely loved Thomas the Tank. Watch it every day with him. Says Dawn. Yeah, who was it? Was it? Because someone was saying Ringo Starr. Was Ringo Starr the person who narrated like the story in Thomas? I think I remember the old school Thomas. Like it was amazing. I would sit there having my ready brek. I can literally picture this. My mum would sit me down at the table in the living room, and I would sit there with a bowl of ready brek, watching Thomas the Tank, and the ready brek. The ready brek. I don't even know how I did it. Every time without fail, right? The ready brek would end up all over my arms, and it would set like concrete. And it would be excruciating when my mum was having to pick the ready brek off my arms. But that's like just a memory I have of like growing up watching Thomas and getting ready brek everywhere. And I also would sit there as well. And I have this puzzle called a fuzzy felt. Does anyone remember fuzzy felt? It was like little felt pieces, and you have like fuzzy felt farm set, and you had like a little board, and you could stick these felt pieces on it and make scenes. I remember just watching Thomas the Tank and doing that, eating ready brek, causing absolute mayhem, basically. But yeah, crazy memory of my childhood. Ready brek, bet you glowed, said Sharon. Absolutely, central heating for kids. So yeah, I also want to say as well, actually, you know what? It is just a little thing that hopefully will make people try stuff they've never tried before. I've done voiceover for a long time, like 15 years. Animation, I got into animation maybe 3 years ago, and I'd done some decent stuff for Netflix, but I would never at that level have ever been put forward for the lead role in something, you know, that was having as much money as Timpo put into it. So a director that I knew from working on these Netflix animations said to me, "Listen, Ross, I want you to come and audition for this." But, and she caveated it, and she won't mind me saying this, she's amazing. Hannah Fairclough, she's great. She said, "You're not going to get it." She said, I want you to experience an audition of this scale, because it was like a big audition for voice work, but I promise you, I mean, she said, look, there's loads of like the big hitters, like the celebrity voiceovers, well-known voices, celebs, and some of like the big hitters like Keith in the mix, like Keith Wickham. So you're not going to get it, but I just want you to experience it. So I went into that audition with absolutely zero expectation and feeling under absolutely no pressure whatsoever. It was almost like, oh, just come and have a laugh with Hannah. And it'd just be an experience that I can just go, yeah, I understand what happens in a big audition like that now. And I forgot about it for 7 weeks. And I caught the moment on camera because I was vlogging at the time. If you go to youtube.com/watch Ross, you'll find all my old vlogs. I did like 2 years of them. We'd film behind the scenes of all my acting work, all my voiceover work, and setting up various businesses. You know, I've always loved business, so I set up different businesses over the years, and we vlogged the whole thing. And I caught the conversation off my voiceover agent ringing me and saying, "Ross, do you remember something called Tinpo? What does it?" Because she didn't even really remember it. And I went, "Yeah, it's that massive BBC thing." She went, "Oh, you're down to the last two." And I went, "Oh my God." Like, because this was a decent job, like financially as well. And I was like, I tried to buy a house. I was trying to buy this apartment at the time, and the bank were not playing ball with me at all to allow me to have a mortgage, because they just don't like actors, really, I don't think, because apparently we're, you know, an unstable career. Although I think because we have so many different revenue streams, we're probably more stable than if you had a full-time job and it got culled. I'm like, well, I've got voiceover work, I've got acting work, I've got presenting work. I've got more revenue streams, but the bank said no. And this job was going to be the thing that would get me the mortgage. So then the pressure started. So I went in and tested the following day on the Thursday, did another test for some extra characters that I didn't end up playing in the end. And on the Friday, I got a call saying you start on the Monday. And I was like, oh my God. And I went there and they put on a big breakfast and everyone was over from LA and the head of CBeebies was there. And I thought, this is a big deal. It was called Timpo and I was Timpo. So like, just shows you, like, even if you think you don't stand the chance, don't put pressure on yourself, but just go and give it your best shot. and you just don't know, what could happen. So just a little tale of the audition scene there, of how it worked. It's interesting. So hopefully you'll be in that position as well one day, where you'll get to test for stuff. So we have got we've got about 4 minutes, and then I'll play this trailer for you, and we'll wrap it up. People saying it was Ringo who narrated Thomas. Absolutely. It was Thomas was just a big part of my childhood. I had the actual old school train sets for Thomas as well. I think you pull. Well, they weren't a train set. It wasn't like you had a track, but like you got all the trains that were like metal, and I think you could pull them back, and then they would go along like a bit of a pullback kind of toy. But they'd be worth a fortune if I had them now. But I haven't. Absolutely not. I did treat myself to a toy today that reminded me very much of my childhood, and I'm not. I guess I'm not ashamed to show you what I bought today. Let me show you this. I can't believe what I actually bought today. You're going to be like, Ross, you're 37. What are you doing, man? But I just wanted this. You're going to be like, Ross, you're just a loser. But I just wanted it. It came out today. It's a pre-order. And I went, oh my God, I've loved this from being a child. I'm still a geek. Check this out. They're bringing out Lego Mario. Mario World Lego. How amazing is that? Don't tell me you don't want it as well. Mario Lego. It's 50 quid though, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to treat myself to a little bit of Lego Mario. Pure nostalgia, basically playing, Super Mario World when I was about 12. Just literally massive part of my life. Now I can make Mario out of Lego. Who doesn't want to do that? That's a little aside, slightly random. Voice acting. Imagine the voice actor of Mario. Now he's made a few bob. Definitely. So, voice acting can take you anywhere. Right. Definitely going to start wrapping it up now. I'm going to play you this trailer for Who's On Next Week. I'm not going to put this out anywhere else. This will be the only time you guys get to see this until we have got the webinar for voice acting out of the way on Thursday. And when that is done, I will start publicising this one for next week. Sarah Jane says not bad for Lego prices. I think there's a lot, though, of like expansion packs for it that range between 17 quid to like 90 quid. So I think if you want it, they get you on the starter set for 50. And they're like, oh, why don't you add Bowser's Castle to it? That's just £90. Well, I'm not going to do that, but I just thought, definitely going to get the starter set. Really want the Disney Castle, says Sarah Jane, but it's 300 quid. Wow. Bloody hell. But I bet everyone wants a bit of Mario Lego. Don't tell me you're not all going to go and order it now, because I know you will. Nicola says, taking Lizzie's advice to always ask a question. Do you think it's a good idea to send a self-tape with many accents in it? 4 to be exact. I'm worried it'll be too much for a short clip of what I can do. It depends on what your goal is, Nicola. So this is the thing, right? Everyone you need to think before you send anything off. What do I want to make happen? The more sort of conscious you can be about the result you want, and then work backwards from that result. So if, for instance, you wanted to, test for a show, or you wanted an audition for a show that had lots of accents in it, then that would be a really good idea to go, right, I'm going to show you that I can, if it was an animation particularly where they're not going to see you and you can play multiple characters in multiple accents, that's a real money-saving thing for the production company there, where they're like, actually, you know what? I can get Nicola to play 4 characters in this if she's good enough. Then they don't have to employ, they're saving on 3 other actors there. That would be a really, really good thing to do. If you are looking for representation and you don't start that reel with your own accent and then explain to that person that you will then go into other accents in the reel and what your actual native accent is, that's a really confusing idea. So people will be like, what is Nicola? I have no idea. Particularly if someone's only got a few seconds. It would be absolute suicide for your career if your self-tape, not your self-tape, but your show reel started with an accent that wasn't yours. Because the amount of casting directors who are going to watch that and go, no, Nicola's Scottish, I'm looking for a northern actor, and off the first scene, you're going to lose the job. So it depends on what it is that you actually want. But yeah, if you were targeting specific projects that required those things, then yes, absolutely. Or if it was an agent and you were like, right, I want to show my versatility to this agent, and you could nail those accents. The things with accents is a lot of people think they can do accents, but I mean, you've got to really be able to do them. There's very few that I can do. I remember I went for a job. I ended up getting it because I just knew I could do the accent, but it was a Peter Kay comedy called Cradle to Grave. and they requested that only native or they said impeccable Cockney accents, could, should apply for the role. And I went and auditioned, and it was really interesting because the casting director knew me as Ross, just knew me as Northern Ross, just normal Northern voice Ross. And I did the scene in the audition in Cockney, and the look on his face, and he actually went, that was decent. I was like, as if like he was not expecting it to be. I was just like, brilliant, thanks. So you clearly got a lot of belief in me then. But I got that job based off the fact that I could do that accent. If it had said Welsh, I wouldn't have even gone for it because I sound Indian or I can't do Welsh. I really can't do it. I mean, like, I could try and I could get coaching and I could probably get to a certain level, but I just don't think I could ever do that. Geordie, dead easy. Scouse, no, not big on Scouse. Scottish, yes, my dad was Scottish, can nail Scottish. But there's certain accents that I'm like, just wouldn't touch. I could, I need to work on my American, even though I've done American animations, hundreds of episodes of an animation in an American accent. Because animation's so heightened and you go really over the top, I find it difficult to pull my American accent back now for a drama and make it like real and authentic. Normally I'm like playing this knight, this personal guy, he's fighting, he's got a sword and he's American, he's all brash and way over the top. So for me to do a serious American accent, I find that really difficult. So I know I need to work on that, but that's something I want to work on as well. Welsh, I don't want to work on it because it's like, it doesn't excite me, nothing against the Welsh people. But I'm like, it's a weakness of mine. And I think society lies to you when it tells you to work on your weaknesses. Only work on your weaknesses if you want to. Focus on your strengths and become great at those things because you're never going to be good at everything in this industry. So just become great at a few things and you'll always work. So it depends on what you want, Nicola. But yeah, if you think it's a good strategy and you're working backwards from what it is that you want to happen, that's the best way to make anything happen in your life. Just work backwards from what it is you want. But most actors don't know what it is they want. They just know they want to work. It's like, well, what do you want to work on and in? And who do you want to work with? Who's the director? Who's the show? What character would you play? The more clarity you can have, the more direct you can be about attacking that goal. Otherwise, your goals are so general, they're impossible to really measure and know that you can, break them down and actually go and get them. So it would depend on what it is you want to do with that. But it's definitely great practice regardless. So good on you for doing it. Alicia, how you doing? So just a quick hi to everyone. Sorry I missed tonight. I was back at work for the first time. Nice. Good to be back at work though. I bet you've missed it to a certain extent. Definitely, I'm missing people. Just want to just go and be with people. I quite enjoyed just going to Sainsbury's yesterday, speaking to the checkout woman. But I thought, yes, some actual real human interaction, which is good. Shelley, you're Welsh. That's what I mean, Polly. But so authentically, I could never do the accent like you. Like no matter how I tried. So I'd rather that job went to you. Well, not that we'd be up for the same job, but I think a casting director would rather cast you for that role for authenticity than someone who was just putting on an accent. Because you know how we all get defensive of our own regions in terms of like when you see an actor on TV portraying a character from your region and they're not from there, you're like, mate, his accent's bad or the accent's terrible. I think people should just go authentic, definitely. Right, I'm gonna play you. This is a proper sneak peek. Please don't tell anyone about this. And don't tweet this person yet because I wouldn't normally play this because I've obviously got to promote Thursday night's voice acting webinar. So don't tweet the person or anything like that. This is just for you guys as a reward for staying on until 10 o'clock for the full hour. But yeah, next Tuesday, we're going to be joined by an incredible casting director, Rachel Sheridan, CDG. She's responsible for some massive, massive shows. Most recently, a show that's just been out on BBC called The Other One, starring Siobhan Finneran, what's her name? She's really good. Lauren Socker. It's got a great cast in it. It's a really funny comedy about two girls who were, they didn't know they were sisters. Same dad. Dad has an affair, drops dead, and then at the funeral they meet. And they didn't know they had each other. It's hilarious, really, really good. But also, all the massive shows as well. I don't know if you saw Feel Good for Netflix. Fantastic show. But Rachel, really, again, top of the game right now, casting some of the biggest stuff. But it's one of just the nicest, most approachable casting directors that you would ever meet. So I should have the trailer for it here. Have I got it? God, I promise you now, I don't know if I've got it. I think this is it. If this isn't it, then I've let you all down. But this is going to be another incredible webinar, again, for members of actonthis.tv. If you're not a member, what are you doing? Actors, I'm back yet again with another incredible invite for you guys to another incredible actonthis.tv live webinar, this time taking place on Tuesday, the 21st of July at 7:30 p.m. with this amazing woman right here, casting director for awesome projects like BBC Three shows The Left Behind and In My Skin, Channel 4 and Netflix comedy Feel Good, and brand new BBC Two comedy, The Other One. It's Rachel Sheridan. Rachel, welcome. Thanks so much for doing this. What are we going to be talking about on Tuesday?
Well, I just think let's keep it really friendly, really open. Don't be afraid to ask me anything. I'm sure that any question any single one of you has, the others are also really keen to know the answer. So yeah, don't hold back, and I'll try to be as open and honest as possible.
Absolutely. I always say there are no stupid questions except the questions you don't ask. So ask
100%.
whatever you want. If you want to jump on camera, literally with me and Rachel live on the evening, put your acting career questions to it, anything on casting, auditioning, just anything that's going to help you get further in your career faster. Get yourself over right now to actonthis.tv/live for full details of how you can get involved with this webinar and all future webinars as well, and even watch previous webinars as well. And also, Rachel, a little bit of pressure, but 5-10 seconds on why actors don't want to miss this one.
Well, I mean, what else are you doing? I mean, I know that the restaurants and bars have opened, so actually you might be going out and getting pissed, but, you know, come and get pissed with me instead.
Exactly. We'll all have a drink. You want to get yourself involved with this. Yeah, actonthis.tv/live. We'll see you there. Boom. Again, actonthis.tv/live if you want to get full details of that, or if you want to be on this week's call and you want to try the site out for 7 days for just £1, actonthis.tv down here somewhere, /trial. When you go to that page, you'll have 60 minutes to get your trial, by the way, and then the page will lock you out. So go and get it whilst you can. And I will be taking that down by the end of this week. It's not going to be something that's available forever. That was just something I was trying out last week and this week. And yeah, it's been popular. You know, a lot of people have taken it up, but it can't be something that I offer forever. So do go and get it. Take action if you want to get that trial. actonthis.tv/trial. It costs you £1. No commitment, and you can test the site out. But I promise you, once you've joined, you won't want to leave, because we're doing this every single week. You get a Q&A with me as well every other Friday. You get a networking event every first Saturday of the month. You get a private community forum, back catalogue of all of the webinars that you've missed. It's just an incredible community, and it is definitely changing people's lives without a doubt. The amount of people who've got agents over this lockdown period for being a part of this community is incredible. So do get yourself involved. Everyone's saying they're very happy in the chat. They're very excited. These webinars are so incredible, says Nicola. Definitely tune in for that, says Sarah Jane. So many great webinars. She was in the Do or Die one I did. Okay, what's that? Was that the Do or Die studio, like monologue competition they held? I saw that on Twitter a few times, I think. Everyone's saying, brilliant. Wow. Amazing show. Yeah, awesome. Honestly, it's going to be great. Come and have a drink. As Rachel says, come and get pissed with us. I'm sure we'll be talking very openly and honestly about the industry. But that's what these webinars are all about. Just cut through the bullshit, and we just get the information that's required to actually move the needle in your career, not just talk about it. We don't just theorize stuff and go, oh, this would be good to do. Like, I'll make you do it. Otherwise, what's the point? What is the point? Like, you're going to die one day. Who gives a shit about, you know, whether you send an email or not, like, because fear of upsetting someone? Just send it. Send the darn email, will you? Awesome. Sharon says, webinars are so good. Absolutely invaluable content. Thank you, Sharon. And Nicola says, I'm so happy I signed up last week. So worth it. But Nicola, it's happening every week, though. That's what I mean. You're never going to not get massive value. I've got a pretty household name actor coming up the week after that. Honestly, it's just like the gift that keeps on giving. This is what I mean. If people want to go and spend bullshit money on £50, £60 workshops where they get 2 minutes with someone, it's just pointless. Spend £6 a week, save your £50, put it into your show reel, get some headshots, shoot some stuff, spend £6 a week, and I'll give you better information that's going to move the needle in your career than anyone else in this industry. Full stop. I just truly believe that, without a doubt. Not an arrogance. We just do it. We just do, without a doubt. We do things differently here. So come and get involved. It's been amazing to have you here tonight, guys. I'm going to go now. It's 7 minutes past 10. We've run over. But yeah, really look forward to seeing you Thursday night for that webinar. I'll play the trailer again in a second for those people who who might have missed it earlier on, but we've got a fantastic webinar this Thursday night with 3 of the biggest voice actors in the animation world. If you want to explore voice acting and basically, have an amazing time and get paid to voice characters in your tracksuit pants whilst having a cup of coffee and some biscuits and have a great time, you're not going to want to miss this one. And Chris says he'll be getting pissed on the webinar, and so does Connor. Can't turn down an invitation for a drink. Everyone bring a gin in a tin. Amazing. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thanks so much for being here tonight. I'm going to play this trailer now again for those who did miss it. But I want to see you there. And remember, you've got, I don't know how long left. You might have like a day or so. I'm going to take this down any time now. But actonthis.tv/trial to get a trial for £1. But that offer will go away. Again, it's not some sales hype or something like that. It was something I was trying. And it's not going to be available forever. It's only for fast action takers. Go and take some freaking action in your life and let's get shit done. I'll see you next time, Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Until then, bye for now. Actors, I am back with a full house and another invite for you guys to another incredible actonthis.tv live webinar taking place on Thursday, the 16th of July at 7:30 p.m. with this incredible gang here. We have got the BAFTA-nominated voice of Horrid Henry and one of the stars of David Walliam's brand new book, World's Worst Teachers, Lizzie Waterworth Sanso in the house. Also got, hello, also got an incredible voice actress as well, star of many, many shows, including playing lots of characters in Horrid Henry, things like Dennis, Lazy Town, Joe Ruiz. And last, but certainly not least, we've got the voice of lots of characters in Thomas and Friends, Octonauts, Mr. Men, Watch My Chops, Mr. Keith Wickham.
Hello.
All right. Guys, thanks so much for doing this. What are we going to be putting, taking actors through on Thursday?
Well, we're talking about working in animation, doing voice acting in animation, and with tips and tricks and hints and some techniques maybe. And we'll talk about our careers possibly and how you can get into the industry and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and we're going to be looking at auditions. How do you get an audition? How do you prepare for an audition? What happens in an audition? And also how to become your character. So how do you become a chicken? How do you become an egg? So many questions.
How do you become an egg? Joe?
Yeah, what they said.
Nice. If you want to get involved with this and you want to literally jump on camera with Joe, with Lizzie, with Keith on the night, put your voice acting career questions to them, get some one-to-one coaching, get yourself over to actonthis.tv/live right now for full details of how you can get involved and also get involved with upcoming webinars as well. And let's do this last little bit in character. Fat Controller, why don't actors want to miss this one?
Because, Ross, it will be a really useful webinar.
Horrid Henry.
Well, if you don't come, I'm going to hunt you down and you can't be in my purple hand gang.
Joe. Sour Susan.
Yeah, purple hand gang.
Nice. We'll see you there. actonthis.tv/live.